With only 3 ranked versus ranked matchups, Week 9 was expected to be relatively lackluster. But with this season being absolutely insane, that of course was not the case. We saw 7 ranked teams go down, guys, 4 of those falling to unranked opponents. 9, 10, 13, 16, 19, 20, and 25. Those were the ranked teams that all went down in Week 9 of college football, which of course creates more questions and creates more chaos ahead of the first set of playoff rankings set to release on Tuesday. Today, guys, we're here to recap all of the insanity from another fantastic weekend of college football, taking a look at some of the biggest moments, some of the biggest upsets, and of course taking a look at how we did on our official picks right here at the Gridiron Expert. So again, guys, welcome back to our channel. Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. We're so glad you could join us today. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Guys, we followed up a 9-1 week last week on our expert picks with another winning week this week. 6-4 against the spread, had a very strong start to the day and a very strong finish to the day. 6-4 have yet to have a losing week here so far. 9 weeks into the season, no losing weeks here at the Gridiron Expert. We're 59-34 against the spread on the year, 63.4%, one of the best marks in the entire country, one of the lowest prices in the entire country. We're beating out over 80% of the national analysts and handicappers in the country. 80% of the national analysts and handicappers in the country, we're offering it to you for a full year for one of the lowest prices. 63.4% against the spread, 82.2% on the money line, hitting our 300th win this Saturday. How about that? 300 wins so far this year, and we still have a whole month of football left to play. Easily could eclipse 400 by the time it's all said and done. So we're super pumped about that. 23-6 on the money line this weekend, 79.3%. Again, all these guys, these picks can be found over on thegridironexpert.com through our expert picks. Take advantage of it, guys, because we are loving the success that we have, and we want you to take advantage of it as well. So let's dive into these upsets. Let's dive into what was another fantastic Saturday, guys. We had, 3 ranked versus ranked matchups, and that's how we'll kick off this recap with what happened in Happy Valley on Saturday. Now, this was a game, guys, that could have shaken up everything. Had Penn State been able to hold on against Ohio State, it would have shaped the Big Ten, it would have shaped the playoff rankings, it would have created chaos across the country. But ultimately, number 2 Ohio State survived the 13th ranked Nittany Lions 44-31. And what a roller coaster. Ohio State was up 10-0 at the end of the first quarter. It looked like the Buckeyes were going to blow out Penn State. Sean Clifford had 2 early interceptions. It was just going to be a bad day. But under 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and Penn State was up 21-16. So they went on a 21-6 run. We're leading this game in the fourth quarter, and then Ohio State, after trailing 21-16, went on a 28-3 run, ultimately winning the game by 13. And guys, it was really led. We talk so much about Ohio State's offense and how good they are. It was the defense that came through clutch for the Buckeyes on Saturday, led by JT Tuimoloau, who had 2 sacks, a fumble recovery, and 2 interceptions, including a pick 6. What position does he play? Cornerback, safety? No, defensive end. Defensive end for JT Tuimoloau. What a insane game for him. Insane game. He, by far, the player of the game, almost single-handedly led Ohio State back in this game to get them this huge, huge win. The Buckeyes, for the first time this year, really battled adversity. We were talking about how this was the first true test for them, only the second true road game for Ohio State this year. And they were struggling. The defense under Jim Knowles, under Tuimoloau, came through clutch in the end. And there's a chance, guys, the Buckeyes could be the number 1 team in the first set of playoff rankings. But to do that, they would need to steal it away from the number 1 team in the AP poll in Georgia. The Bulldogs taking down Florida in the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, defeating the Gators 42-20. Another interesting game here, guys, where the Bulldogs looked like they were going to run away with this one, beating Florida 28-3 at halftime. But give credit to the Gators for battling back. They were facing a Georgia team that takes very good care of the football, a Georgia team that had not allowed a single point in the third quarter this year. Florida scored 17 in the third quarter alone, cut it to 28-20 late in the third quarter, made a game out of this before Georgia settled down, regained their composure, took better care of the football, scored the final 14 points to win by 42-20. But give credit to Florida. To be able to put that many points on this Georgia defense, to be able to battle back in this game, make it interesting late in the third. Obviously, being able to force a couple turnovers off of Stetson Bennett, this Georgia offense. Do want to give credit to the Gators there, but ultimately Georgia clearly the better team, and Brock Bowers clearly the better player. If you haven't seen his unbelievable tip drill touchdown, go back and watch it. Unbelievable effort for a tight end. Also having 5 receptions, 154 yards, and a touchdown, including the one we just mentioned. So an unbelievable performance by him. By far, not the best tight end in the country, one of the best players in the country. He's going to be a very valuable asset for Georgia if they can make the playoff, if they're the number 1 team in the country. Huge test, though, coming up as they take on Tennessee in Athens on Saturday. That'll be our game of the week. We'll have more analysis on that in the coming days. How about we move over to the Big 12? We got to give a shout out, guys, to Kansas State. My man, Matthew Hazelhorst, I'm sure you are pumped. I'm sure you are stoked. And congratulations, my man, on your huge win. Kansas State, the 22nd ranked team in the country, taking down number 9 Oklahoma State, 48-0. Big, fat goose egg. Speechless is what I am from this game, guys. I mean, this was a game that we thought was going to be close, a game that had so much on the line for the Big 12 standing, so much for Oklahoma State and trying to keep their playoff hopes alive, and the Cowboys could get nothing going. Oklahoma State shut out for the first time since 2009. Kansas State earning the largest shutout victory ever by a lower-ranked team against a top 10 opponent, if that makes sense. So this is the largest shutout for a top 10 team against a lower-ranked opponent. Kansas State has it 48-0 over the 9th-ranked Cowboys. And look at the numbers, guys. What this did for everybody is show, first off, that Kansas State truly is legit, and also showed that Will Howard is the man in Manhattan. He is the new quarterback in Manhattan. We talked about this. Adrian Martinez was going to miss out on this game more than likely. And we said Will Howard might not be the worst decision in the world, considering Oklahoma State's secondary is pretty bad. Will Howard more of a better passer than Martinez. Could he exploit that secondary? He did. 296 yards, 4 touchdowns on the day for the junior backup quarterback, now starter for Kansas State. Unless something crazy happens, he needs to be the guy going forward. Deuce Vaughn, 158 yards and a touchdown on the day for the Wildcats. And let's give credit to the Kansas State defense. A defense that was holding TCU in check last week before they started getting just riddled by injuries, bounced back, faced the number 3 scoring offense in the country. The Cowboys were averaging over 44 points per game coming into this week, held them to 0 points and just 217 yards. An unbelievable performance from Kansas State. Not a fluke, not a lucky game, a dominant performance from start to finish, and now it is a two-way battle right up there at the top with TCU undefeated in the Big 12 and Kansas State right behind them. We could be on a crash course to see a rematch in the Big 12 championship game. What a game from Kansas State. What a game for the Wildcats. Huge monumental win for Chris Kleiman and his squad. Real quick, top 10 upset. Another top 10 team goes down. The number 9 team went down in Oklahoma State. The number 10 team goes down in Wake Forest. Louisville destroying the Demon Deacons 48-21. Scott Satterfield delivering when he needed to. He's a guy that earlier this year was on the hot seat. Many were just waiting for him to get fired. Now Louisville has won 3 straight games. The Cardinals forced 8 turnovers against the Demon Deacons. That electric offense led by Sam Hartman, 8 turnovers off of them. The Cardinals had 35 third quarter points, including 2 pick sixes off of Sam Hartman. That was about as good of a performance you can get from a defense. One that was kind of struggling a little bit coming into this week. Again, Wake Forest guys becoming the second ACC team in a row to have 8 turnovers in a single game. Last week, Miami had 8 against Duke. Demon Deacons now have 8 against Louisville. And Wake Forest, once again, falling short after cracking the top 10. Remember last year, they were a top 10 team. Faced off against Clemson on the road, got annihilated by the Tigers. Now they crack the top 10 again, get annihilated against the Cardinals. Demon Deacons just not meant to be there. Not meant to be there. A poor performance, but an unbelievable one from Louisville, who is now 5-3. Just one more. They need to go bowling. 2 more games here, guys, we want to talk about. How about Tennessee? Give credit to the Volunteers. They deserve it, guys. The Volunteers have a very strong case to be number 1. I mean, it could be Ohio State. It could be Georgia. It could be Tennessee, who annihilated number 19, Kentucky, 44-6. And, guys, this game was over before it started. I mean, who are we kidding here? You know, we titled our video, does Kentucky have a chance? We knew they didn't have a chance. We said it could be close for a little bit, and it was. Kentucky was only down 7-6 at the end of the first quarter. They were only down 20-6, little bit midway through the second, had a chance to cut into that lead, make it 20-13, and then they had a crazy tip drill interception that Tennessee returned all the way, or close to all the way, scored off of that. it was over after that interception. When Kentucky threw that interception deep in Tennessee territory, down 20-6, it ended the game. And it was actually the last time that Kentucky was in Tennessee territory until 4 minutes left in the game. Think about that. So from about midway through the second quarter, Kentucky had not crossed the 50-yard line until 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. That Volunteers defense, guys, we talk about their offense all the time. Their defense putting together a fantastic performance, holding Kentucky to 205 yards, forcing 3 interceptions, and holding Will Levis in that passing attack to just 98 yards on the day. Tack on 4 sacks to that, and this was by far the best Tennessee defensive performance we have seen all year. They saved the best for a night game against a quality opponent, making a very strong case to possibly be number one when the rankings are released on Tuesday, but obviously showing that they are a legitimate team. We knew that coming into this game, continuing to add to that and setting down the monster showdown on Saturday against Georgia. I mean, what a game we've got coming up in Athens, guys. Tennessee, Georgia, great offenses. Tennessee showing they have some life defensively. That's going to be a fun one. Give credit to the Volunteers for their dominant win over Kentucky, who just, again, didn't really stand a chance coming into this game at all. Real quick, guys, not many games we want to shout out. We just want to give a couple shout outs to the teams that won unexpectedly over their ranked team. So shout out to Notre Dame, taking down number 16 Syracuse. Big time win, 17 points against the Orange. Now, Syracuse will not drop far in our rankings because they did not play with Garrett Schrader for the majority of that game. Garrett Schrader going down, but do not want to take anything away from Notre Dame in that game. Fantastic defensive performance, being able to bottle up Sean Tucker in that passing game. The offense still coming to life. The Fighting Irish wildly inconsistent, but a huge win on the road at the Carrier Dome. How about number 17 Illinois, sitting at 7-1 for the first time since 2001, winning 26-9 at Nebraska, a game that we talked about. Had the Cornhuskers won, would have created a 3-way tie at the top of the Big Ten West. The Cornhuskers couldn't get it done. Illinois now atop the Big Ten West standing, 7-1, rising up the rankings. Do not sleep on Brett Bielema and the Fighting Illini. How about UCF taking down number 20 Cincinnati, 25-21, scoring the game-winning touchdown with 48 seconds left. That game alone, guys, could have ruined Cincinnati's New Year's Six bowl hopes. They're still slightly in the hunt for the American Athletic Championship game. UCF now owns that tiebreaker. Tulane is a team to watch out for. Still going to be ranked in the polls. Still a very dangerous team, but it's yet to play Cincinnati. So watch out for the Green Wave. But Cincinnati now taking their second loss now to Arkansas and UCF. Huge win for Gus Malzahn down in Orlando. And then a shout out to Missouri. Missouri going on the road to the other Columbia, going from Columbia to Missouri to Columbia, South Carolina to take down the 25th ranked Gamecocks. They finally cracked the rankings under Shane Beamer. Everybody was hyped, ready to go, and South Carolina laid a massive egg. 23-10 victory for the Tigers. They held South Carolina in that offense to 203 yards on the day. Huge, huge, huge win for Eli Drinkwitz for a Missouri team that has come so close this year. Came so close against Auburn, came so close against Georgia, came so close against Florida, and now finally getting over the hump and getting a ranked win on the road against what I still think is a solid South Carolina team, but one that maybe should not have been ranked in the first place, at least not yet. But a huge win for Missouri. A couple shout outs there that we wanted to give. Not enough to talk about all those games in detail, but they deserve some attention. Games that definitely affected some individual conference races and the rankings as well, as we head into our GE rankings that will come out later tonight. And of course, the playoff rankings that will come out on Tuesday, and we'll have a deep live stream analysis for that game. Right after the rankings come out, we'll be breaking down those rankings, sharing our thoughts, opinions, and getting you ready for a big, big, big Week 10. So, guys, there you have it. What a great Week 9 it was. Another fantastic college football weekend. You got to cherish them, guys. We're entering the month of November, so the season is slowly coming to a close, but we had some more madness. 7 ranked teams going down. Despite the upsets, despite the madness, still a very successful week over here at the Expert Pick. 6-4, no losing weekend so far this year, so take advantage of this, guys. We have not lost. We have not lost. We're 25 games above 500, 59-34, 63.4% against the spread, over 82% on the money line. You can't beat it. So go check it out. The link for that down in the description below. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.